Hey James, we're here at one of our favorite establishments here in Baltimore, uh, and so interesting. I noticed that I say martial arts, i.e. MMA, and football, not so much boxing, because it's sort of understood that you're gonna have from all the concussions, you're gonna have brain damage, right? But there's a I saw some interesting videos that might be of merit in terms of sparring, right? Where the guys aren't sparring as hard anymore in MMA at the very least. I don't know about the full contact or other stuff, but and they say that you actually learn better doing that and saving it for the fight. What's your opinions on that?
Well, getting injured in training's not productive for the fight. We had, with the full contact stick fighting, we've been doing it for 7 years, 8 years. And then we had the biggest freestyle meet we could get together, 14 people. I'd had this finger broken like 5 times just doing bouts in the gym. We always sparred as hard as we could. And there were 2 guys that we couldn't beat that trained together. And when they got matched up together in the bracket, they had the referee announce that they weren't going to be going all out, that they were going to spar. You were there, and it was Aaron and Rico, and they were moving around great. They were tapping each other. And Charles came over to me and said, "This is why they're beating the shit out of us, because they train like this. We're hurt half the time." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And well, I had already had experience in sparring that way boxing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Where you're just trying to go light, and you're not trying to degrade your nervous system. It's a problem right when you start to get stronger and you move up in weight, like in your late 20s. Boxers are already having neurological problems. The reaction time is slower, and particularly if you started like when you were 5 years old. A lot of boxers don't want their kids to start boxing until they're like 15, which is too late to make a champion out of them. Okay, so there's a trade-off there, but there's techniques for going light. One of them is, if we're boxing light, is I want to hit you with my elbow bent like this. Okay? I never want to hit you at full extension, because I want to hit and be able to stop before driving through. If I stop before I hit you or try to pull it as soon as I hit you, then I'm going to mess up my timing for power. And the other thing you can do, as much as possible, you have a high-level guy spar with a low-level guy. Like when I was sparring with guys in Portland, if it was a guy that was new, let's say when Neil was just starting out, he would run into my jabs sometimes.
Yeah,
so
me too.
I'd open my hand. So that way,
Okay.
That's another thing you can do. So you can practice punching through the target by trying to target it right here. This is where you want to hit me. And then when you hit the bag, you can practice driving through. And if you're the safety guy, if you're the more experienced guy, when he walks into a headshot, you just open your hand within your glove.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is practice not closing tightly when you hit. Like when you do score a headshot, keep your hand loose
Like slappy.
in the glove.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still a fist, and then the contact is going to press the hand in the glove, and that's going to give him a cushion when you're the one scoring it. So the main thing is and when you go lighter, with the stick and with boxing, stick fighting, might as well call it stick boxing. You win with combinations. When you go lighter, you get to practice a lot of combinations, and you're not worried about getting hurt. And that's the main reason to go light. It does make you more effective, and it also does less damage to you. And in between there's the issue of when you're not afraid of getting hurt, when you can trust the other guy that he's not going to take your head off, then you can experiment with stuff and start developing secondary and tertiary skill sets.
So pretty much you agree with that philosophy that's gaining ground.
I've been doing that with boxing since 2002, and I was a dum-dum, so I didn't start doing it with stick fighting until 2006 when Charles and I had that conversation with the two dudes that just got done beating the shit out of us. Took it easy on each other, and it looked great.
Oh,
and he's
man.
like, yeah, okay, this is why we're sitting out, and they met in the bracket.
All right, that's interesting. So cool, man. Thanks for that. That was just a little question I had, training question I had.
All right, cool. Well, we'll do that next week. You're ready to spar with the boxing gloves, and we'll do it with the stick. We've already been doing it with the stick. It's easier to wrap your head around going light with the stick.
Yeah.
Because it hurts so damn bad. You're like, yeah, okay, let's just tap each other.
If
with
you're making Mayweather money or you're making that blonde freaks money now, whatever, is it? Real quick, what do you? You know what? I'll add that to this. Screw it. What do you think of this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson matchup?
I don't know anything about the non-Tyson guy.
He's bigger than Tyson.
You know, the only thing, anytime somebody asks me about Tyson is from watching him, you know, he hadn't had a good coach since he was like 21.
Right.
And or a coach that was good for him. I'm sure the coach he's had are, you know, better than amateur coaches, but he hadn't had a coach that was right for him since D'Amato, and he never learned how to defend against the clinch. Never learned how to break a clinch. Okay, so he's like my age.
Yeah,
so if you got a guy that's got a little bit of a jab and can take a punch and is taller than him, then I could probably train him to do what Roy Jones did with him, which was just move left behind a jab, clinch, break, move left behind a jab, clinch. I watched the Roy Jones Mike Tyson fight, so I'd say you find out who is using Roy Jones for a coach or a sparring partner, and that's the guy that I'd pick to be able to make it go his way. And with Tyson, you're dealing with a guy that's an old man, but it's also a genetic freak. You know, so he's not going to punch any lighter than he did when he was a teenager. He's still going to have that punch. So the other camp, it's going to be all about the clinch. Clinch him long enough to juice his legs, which you need to be taller and or heavier, and then maybe at the end of the fight, try to hurt him from long range.
All right, interesting. All right, bro. Cool. Thanks. Beer.